transparency. The coalition comprises of 7 climate justice organizations and legal NGOs that work on public finance and climate finance, Ambiental and Oxfam South Africa. The Fair Finance Coalition Southern Africa was established in 2022, and since then we've led on research projects such as this one that contribute to the knowledge-based coalition members in communities surrounding Lephalale who had expressed feeling excluded from the Medupi mega project. The development of public finance institutions in projects like Medupi, seeking accountability and transparency to ensure ethical and responsible finance. We remain steadfast in our scrutiny and healthy conversation about the need for responsible and sustainable development finance in Africa. So at this point, I'd like to outline this morning's proceedings. Firstly, we'll have to Solomon again, who will facilitate a presentation conducted by members of the Lephalale community. We have Jeremiah Nkwati, Leta Motsehoa, Joanna.
Translation.
Ka bokopana ntwe bolelwang bo ke tshepa gore re a kwishisana gore mamotla re kopane ka batho ba tsenyang ditšhelete tsa gore go agiwe meago e ba kgone gore ba e dire ka tsela e leng gore e hlokomela gore re lefe ka bokopana gore go diragalang mamotla go feta mo le tla bontshwa setshwantsho sa dilo tse di boletsweng ke lena batho gore so go fetela mo re tla neela go mme Ariel Share ya dutse mola e leng yena a tla re tsamaisa a re boletse ka summary of report
Website. And the report is published both in English and Sepedi, so that it's accessible particularly for the members of the Lephalale communities. So as Aurelie said, the name of the report
Ito le tlhalosetsa ka yona raporoto eo gore ke le bontshe gore dilo tse di nyakiwang mo working
necessarily knows so.
Pele ke thoma ke tla bolela ka gore ke botsise putso ya gore re a tseba na gore
Thank you. Colin.
Ozzy.
Yeah, it's right
Can you,
there.
can you please get Jerry?
My phone. Yes, it's on.
Online audiences, but you don't have to translate that because it should just be for online, and then I'll pass to Ariella, and then she'll begin.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. Fact case study titled Living in Medupi's Shadow Stories from Lephalale. This study intends to unveil the impacts of the construction of the Medupi Coal Power Station on the proceedings for this morning. My name is Aurélie Kalinga. I'm the interim branch manager of the African Climates Reality Project, which is a program. Thank you for honoring our invitation this morning. We are a civil society coalition working towards ensuring that development finance institutions invest in a socially and work on public finance and climate finance, namely the African Climates Reality Project, 350africa.org. The Center for Southern Africa was established in 2022, and since then we've led on research projects such as this one that contribute to the knowledge base of the public. Communities surrounding Lephalale who had expressed feeling excluded from the Medupi mega project. The development and ongoing operation of Medupi is funded by the BRICS Bank, the World Bank, investment decisions of international banks and PFIs. Today, Lephalale residents will hold a media briefing to share their stories of broken promises made by stakeholders. Video screening showcasing the lived experiences of women in Lephalale since the development of Medupi. I will then hand over to Ms. Leta Motehoa, Joanna Shiko. They'll all give their perspectives of their lives following the mega project, and you'll have an opportunity to ask them questions. Without further ado, I'll hand over to Ariella for his
Hard copies, but also copies are available on, soft copies are available on our website and on the websites of our affiliate organizations. So starting off, what is Medupi? Because it's being the focus of this case study, Medupi in Limpopo province. In 2007, then Eskom unveiled its plans to build from stations in a very small space.
Bjale ka ge le kwele re bolela ka Medupi le ba gore ke metsi a tlileng gore a tlo thusha batho or go thusha lefase gore le a Lephalale. Bjale go thomile ka World Bank e le yona e tsentšhang ditšhelete gore ditšhelete tse go kgone gore go le ka ge e agilwe e agwa ka tsela ya gore e tlo atlafatša maphelo a rena.
Thank you, Ntate. So as for by quite a few loans that came straight to Eskom from international development banks, from the World Bank, from the African Development Bank, and then much later from the New Development Bank or the BRICS Bank. And the monies for the sixth unit came online in the middle of 2021, since when Medupi has been fully operational. It is the largest dry-cooled power station in the world. And there is sufficient coal in the area, particularly in Medupi, but in the Waterberg area, to satisfy that need. And particularly important, we know that coal is a dirty form of it. All come through, but Medupi is not complete. Some of that financing is for very specific technology that improves the extent of the air pollution coming out.
Project e tomileng ka ngwaga wa 2016 wa 2015 be e swanetše gore ka magareng a 2021 e be ile
summarize what the report says because it's contained in there, but more importantly, we have some community members with us on the panel who can speak much, much more directly to the impacts than any of us can. Various communities, and whether it was the different banks, the local, the provincial, the national government, Eskom, Medupi management itself, those kind of engagemental impacts on the communities, how they are seeing those impacts. It's important here to highlight, we as researchers did not, in their own words, how their lives have changed and in what ways. Then we talk about the gendered socioeconomic impacts. What its mega project meant for traditional community life and livelihoods. What did these communities look like? And these are various communities, so they're not monolithic. What did they look like prior to the introduction of a mega?
Power station tse di leng gare ga rona di amile maphelo a rena. Raporoto e tla bontsha tsela e ka gore ka dikarolo se le di dinyakwa tse di phelang ka tsona di amegile bjang. And go feta moo maphelo a batho ba dulang mo lefatsheng le rona bjale ka ge re le setšhaba sa lefatshe mo fatshe re boledišitšwe na and le nto e kopakopanya ka tsela efe maphelo a re botebo ka tsona dilo tše fela batho ba ba leng mo dipaneleng ba e leng diboleledi tša setšhaba ke bona ba tla hlalosang gore bona ba di bona.
And to test the community's perspectives against any standard. It was to speak to the community members and to find out in their own words what the story to development finance and that we believe are important across the board. And so we do feel it was appropriate to make some recommendations to the relevant stakeholders. We think that the story is with the community members. So again, we don't make any findings. We make recommendations. And we hope that this, and take note and perhaps, follow some of these recommendations.
Reporto ena e bontsha maikutlo a batho ba mo setšhabeng sa me go kwešišwane gobane le tsela ya go ya pele e hlabollang setšhaba ka tsela e nepagetšeng.
So we put the recommendations in finance institutions that provided the financing to Eskom to build Medupi. So one very important thing, when devising and planning for a mega project that is of service delivery so that they can accommodate an economy that's expected to expand. When you bring a mega project into a community, you need to make sure that in general we demand that communities who are going to be affected by any sort of development be given the right to free, prior, and informed consent, align with international environmental and human rights standards and best practices. We recommend that the IFIs and DFIs work with from the panelists, but as you'll see in the report, one of the issues raised in the perspective of the community members is that there wasn't such adequate engagement and that there's not an authorization equipment has been fitted and is fully operational. Until that time, we recommend that the IFIs and DFIs cannot consider this agreement to be fulfilled.
Ditumelano ka mabapi le melawalawana e tsamaisang tlhokomelo tshwanetse gore go bane le proof gore ntwe e bontshang ka bonnete gore ba phethile dilo ka moka tse ba tshwanetseng gore ba di go tlhokomela.
Eskom ensures that the surrounding communities' needs are prioritized and that they are electrified. The researchers, the community. So we recommend that Eskom, amongst looking at the national power grid, also first look at the surrounding communities. We recommend that Eskom look at the advertising that come available at Medupi. We recommend that Eskom urgently tender for and fit the flue gas. And finally, we recommend that Eskom works together with the families whose graveyards are located within the Medupi compound to ensure
Ho Eskom e leng bona ba swereng di power station tse le gona re na le dintho tse di nne tse re batlang go bontshana ka tsona ntho e sa le phalale ba kgone gore ba e bonagale e ska ba mmereko for batho ba itseng and mang le mang a kgone gore a ka fumana mmereko and then le ditshepišo tše ba di dirang hlokometse gore ba di dira pele ga dilo tšeo di diragala ba ka se fiwe gore ba feditše ka mošomo wa bona.
to the local fulfillment of the human rights that are due to them. We also recommend that the municipality urgently address the housing shortage in the area, exist in the access to employment opportunities across the municipality, but very particularly at Medupi itself.
Go bo masepala ebile ba dule ka tsela e leng gore ba hlokomelegile go feta moo bomenemene.
Finally, to the national government of South Africa, like we recommended to the IFIs and DFIs, we recommend that they adopt a holistic. The government develop an action plan to outline the processes which ensure this type of holistic development. But also that development must include efficiencies, they can upgrade the infrastructure, and that they can ensure that the communities live a dignified life.
Government, national government, gona re bontsha gore ba swanetse gore ba bontshe mo lephalale and go bane le office e leng gore ba hlokomele bjale ka national government gore ba phagamiše seemo sa thuto because batho ba mo setšhabeng mo thuto a ego.
To emphasize again that the purpose of this report is to tell the story of the communities of Lephalale and to assist and work with the communities in establishing up that we've done justice to your story, because it's a very important story to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ariella. We can see though, just to take a look at the impacts of the project from a gendered lens. The project from a gendered lens. We'll play the video shortly.
Community projects that are sustaining community way, then we'll be saying it's a benefit from Medupi and making sure communities
gore bjale ka batho ba tsopotšwe mo setšhabeng gore e be bona ba ntšhang maikutlo a bona ka dilo tše di-mine tše ke mme Johana and then le mme Leta Motshegwa a ke re ke wena mme a se wena Leta ka ntate e tla ba yena a tla bolelang ka maikutlo a gagwe gore yena o amegile bjang and re ba bolela ka yona ke ife. So ntate Jeremiah re ka thoma ka wena Ntate Jeremiah le ena ke yo mongwe wa leloko la batho ba dulang mo leagong le la Lephalale.
Original surname mo thoteng ya Steammoko ka mo family ya me ke Moilwana ke bina Phuti Nkwati e le utswang ke bitso ka yona Nkwati ke ka nako sa mathomo di power station le di mine tse di leng mo ho rona nna ho ya ka nna mo ho tsona ke batla ho lebotsa hore rena ko Steenbok Pan a ske leina la batho ba ba sweu ka nako ene ha ba tsietse borakgolo wa rena go tsa lefatshe ke le seding e re nna mo ho yona ko di farmong tse re tswang ko ho tsona re tsaletse ko le bo mma rena ba tsaletse ko rena le bo nkuku wa rena ba bo 1918 1909 ba re bole di mine di a rula di tsena mo dinaheng tsa rona mo re tohetseng mabita a rona hana mo Steenbok Pan mo Khokwe ha di ke ne ke nna mole a le mole thabane le teng e ba ithubileng ya badimo mo no go tshologa metsi teng maswe le ha democracy ka 94 ho titokolo etsene ke democracy ha re ya ko le seding le gone jaano ha ke bua le kopane ba ho bitsa ha re ya ko le seding le gone jaano ha ke bua le kopane ba ho bitsa informal settlement mara na le mo councilor ya deployilweng ke ANC ho ta mo Steenbok Pan ka makala hore ho ta yang ho 8 re re tsena mo le seding re nwa metsi a boholu re tsena mo toileteng ya boholu re dirisa tanka yeo ka 2008 le now hantse re dirisa country le bo president le bona ba World Bank ba uta hore di power station le mine tse ba di romela mo organization e ke le mo yona ka 2010 ke bua ka mabita a epiwang ke mebaene a ntshiwang ke batho ba sweu mo di farmong ke Sekhoko coal mine ko plaseng ya Smithpan e remove batho ba rena re le ko Steammoko e ntsha ba mita a le 15 ko Smithpan ka bitsa kuranta ya Daily Sun le a thokala tsela ra emisa monna yo na epa mabita ra re khopela o yeme o saya so monnolo o khathanong le rena ha ba batho re boloke mabita o re eme ho fita 27 months yanong yana ra ikemela ha re sa le bata mo ho rona ba batsa ka khombi ba mine a Sekhoko ba fa batho di 15,000 le nka bona ba bangwe ba thoka feitsi motho yona episwa malibita le ne le tswa ko Medupi o a lwala o tshaba batho nna mo ntu so re na le bothata ka di mine tse di tang mo ho rona go epolla ma di farmong hore ba itse ka rona batho ba re tswang ko di plaseng hore na le mabita le ona ano ha se nke ntho e diragala still ha ba lwala tshwantse a ko lebiteng la nkukua right ha re fita ko masepala re khopela le re fe di nomoro tsa mabita le a epileng kwa la bulukileng kwa ka hore ha re itsora yo ke ma so di mine tse di tang mo Lephalale ha hona sepe se di se direlang rona mebitini ya di participation e tshwala re tala o lo ra ro hirwa ba re tshepiso re ho hirwa batho ba le 2000 mo bofelong batho ba le 2000 ha ba hirwa ho hirwa batho ba tswang konte mo plekeng ya rona o sa tokolo ke ba freedom is coming ba bua hore president wa rona Nelson Mandela are the people shall govern so ha ba sa butswing sep di tswela pele ka ho maena ditimela tsa mabita a rona re le batho re le tshaba se se sa mo ke nnante plus a kie motho kwa ha Medupi ba hile lodge mo mabiteng a bora kgolwahe le jaanong ke bua ka monna mo ntung a elang di lokile ka ra kgolwa ha mo mo setheng le ba re ema mo ku mo lebe mo sethaole ko ra kgolwa ha bolukileng o tlo go bona o boe hanafa ke lodge ba hirile banna ba bangwe ba ho tswa ko Zimbabwe monno le ha maburu a le ba re lebellang mabita a le buang ka ona mo a leng teng ha ba ya kwa monno le wa modimo a re ke nnete le bua dilo tseo ba kwala lekwalo ba re le ise mo police station maphodisa a re ise koo maphodisa ha a isa monno le kwa ha ba tsena maphodisa ba le phalale ba re a monno le ba re lerapo le kae ba re ke mo kae ke maphodisa ba re a monno ba re lekgowa la re mo feng spete a epe maphodisa ba re hape nna re bata dipholofolo tsa rona ha di sa ipsina dikgomo tsa rona di a tšhentšha e nna tsa madukuduku di tshwana le dimpsa dithapi tsa rona di a fela ka setšhaba sa gaetsho se se tileng le mafatshe ka moka bothata bo boholo mo dimmaeneng mo lephalane ke go sa consulte le setšhaba ande bothata bo nkutlwisitseng bothoko ke gore di-power station a laisiwa di lathelwa mo
We youth, we are lazy to drop the CVs. Re a mo di-station re dropa di-CV ba di lata. Re apply, re ema di-line. Experience. Ke na le qualification isn't what you said you want. Now you tell me about an experience. Okay, I get experience somewhere else. After you are saying that the youth is lazy. The youth here is after groups, is after unnecessary things, forgetting about their future. But which future do you refer to? The one you destroyed by not giving me a job. The one you shattered by telling me I do not have a qualification. Private school and get a better education. Why not make the ones in the rural area also have better education so that I can be like everybody else? My cry, and there's been a high dropout, high teenage pregnancy. Why is that? Have you ever went through a situation whereby you'll have to sleep on a... If ever you have given my parents a job, I'll be at school. I'll be studying. I'll be getting the qualification you're talking about. Okay, I've studied. I've got a bachelor's matric certificate. That NCV you're always talking about. What is it doing for me? Ha ke benefit selo. Ke tshwere yes ke na le ona. Ha ke benefit selo for botlhokwa. Le opinion ya hao ha re lebelele ha re theletse. Re tsa opinion ya motho le reng o tsore ha ta ka 20 rand re tshwareng ke cold drink. E ba re ha bolele ba thoka moka ba theletsa yena because it's no longer healthy. Ha re sa khona lo re ka planta re itirela a living because first bone le dio tsa di agriculture. Pero khona o planta the backyard garden. The land is now destroyed. Infant, what happens to these newborns? Will they survive this dirty water? They won't. Lidiranga this thing. Ever since COVID, there's been high, and each and every day there is a high rate of unemployment, high rate of dropout, high rate of teenage pregnancy. To bring somebody to this earth and say, I'll protect that person, it's a little. So after having to ask somebody money, tell me, you know what, I can't give you 100. I might have gotten very various diseases through that unprotected sex. I might have gotten myself into danger because I don't know how the person is. They are seeing things easy for me by killing myself, by making a suicide. What about my siblings? They are looking up to me, and yet there's nothing I can give them. In our place, not far from home, where I have to go to KZN, where I have to go to East London to get for the higher university, where I have to go everywhere for studies. It would have been better if ever I was at home. And higher. You give us learnership and you tell us you are giving us learnerships. Those learnerships, we apply them, but no respond. If it's not a scam, you don't get. But because I want job, poverty is taking us down and down in each and every day. I came to you for help, and you are telling me about using else with my future. But I am here complaining, and you'll be saying that complaining doesn't help. But at least I have said something that everybody knows is happening. Here is my story. What is it that you are doing with it? You said that our country will be developed, and we are all, which causes us lung TVs. We experience many diseases that came with different things in this earth and in this world. Will I be able to live with it for years? Will my children, my siblings, my future children, future sisters, will they be able to?
Ye ke bonong gore dilo di ka sepele ha botse ke nako e former president Jacob Zuma a ba tlile ka mo Medupi power station ho ile ha ba le report engwe be e tlisitse ke as community hall kae ba dile refurbishment kae dilo tseo di se gona re ile ra bona gore dilo di ka sepele ga botse he company e thomontsha statement sa tse dingwe tse ileng gore ba ka ikhola ka tsona e fela batho ba habebe batla ka mo re ile ra ameha kudu re le badudi ka ya mo storage ngwe e teng motho kola mo spamola ya elela e nkgela motho a feta ka tsela e putse gore motho wa dutse mmola le bana ba hae everyday aja storage ela etla e mentši e batho ba be ba e lebeletse ba bantši ha ba ikhumana ke nyakile mošomo wa kwa Medupi ebile nka no re ke emetse modent o mpaletše a bana le mo ba hirwa ebile ba tloga mo lephalale ha ba bone go na le thuso mara ha o ka lebelela re na le di-power stations tse digolo re na le di-mine o re na di a ba bona o ra di rena ha re be re thanya re be re enwa metsi a pula ani bjale ge ke beeleditse metsi a pula ke re ke toana ka re ke a rata metsi a le ha sa tlhoelana le taste re a tsebang ka ke tshwanela ke gore ke tsamaye ke ena heng ko batsa dikhunye ke phushe wheelbarrow ke to dira mollo ka baka la gore ke sena motlakase ntwego e nkutisa botlhoko e ya nkama mo bophelong ba baba a tlhotlhonya so nna ntwe ke be ke se ke lemoge ka magae ke be ke na le morwedi ha sa gola o be a tshwara ke asthma but after pasa matric a tsamaya ya di-tertiary motho monnyane le bana ba bannyane setse ba sepela ka dipompo ke na le bana ba baagišane ba ka ba e leng gore ke motswadi ka bana ba ba thomile go tsamaya ka dipompo ba santsane ba le dikretšhe le no ba kgona go thibana ba le sekolo be ba ani bjale batswadi ba rena le bana ba rena re ba boloka mabitleng mo mongwe e leng gore Eskom le masepala ba dirile dili koo mabitla le ha tlala ngwaho mongwe tla ba re timeletse ke mabitla go tshwana le batho ba go Steenbok pane ba e rile power station ga a hiwa ba se bitsiwe mabita a bona a no epollwa fela no bo batho fela re no tshwana le batho ba go dipolekeng tse di masena power station na e re go le ka seno re ana mo mara re se tlhefetse go tshwana le motho a leng 300 ba dutse ana mo ba bang ba sore di-qualification ba bangwe a bana tsona ba bangwe ba dirile di-drivers license a ba bereke Medupi nna le wena a sa nka e re direla selo so le me ba ine
ka polelo ya gago e ntšhang maikutlo a gago gape ka gore di-power station tse di agileng mo lebakeng le la le phalale I'll have a roving mic I think and then we will ask the questions please say who you are and possibly explain. The panelists will also maybe jot down the questions that relate to them in terms of that. We have heard that the three speakers, and then we get them answered, and then we will then follow through from that. Okay.
Local newspaper called Ntsebele. I've done some work previously. I've interviewed people like Mr. Ngwati. I've also been in Steenbok quite often to see. I wanted to focus on, and I think this will, my remarks will be directed to, it's Ariela. Perhaps before I get into this, I don't see a representative of either Medupi or the local municipality or the mine research programs or the work that you have done previously. When you made these recommendations, did you get a study case for other projects that will be taking place in South Africa or in other parts of Africa for that matter? Sfar, thank you.
Puchisho mo itswa go ntate wa radio station ke bontšha ka tsona gore swanetse gore di diragale go tšwišetša pele project tše mo ba kileng ba di dira dilo tše go na le phetogo e bileng gona go ba
stakeholders, not to speak or to be able to answer questions, but more to attend, and we'll also be circulating copies of the reports to them. primarily because we believe this is an important process for them, has achieved what they wanted, that the story has gone out and been heard. But at the moment, we're trying it now.
Community participation. And I would want to ask two questions. I think any of the panel members can really pick on this one. First of all, in terms of the recommendations that you are making, my question then becomes, there is the Lephalale Development Forum that was created. Was it not a sufficient structure?
The potšišo ya pele e botšiša ka gore go na le policy framework gore melawalawana the way e beilweng ka gona bothata development forum eo e swanetše gore ke be e le gore e a le ama ka moka bjale ka batho ba Lephalale go berekega bjang.
And that the purpose of this report, it's not a legal analysis, it's not a policy assessment, it's a storytelling report. So we did not test what the connect. So one would hope that perhaps in your research you can take that a bit further and look at the framework and see. But again, I will repeat that one of the question on
Lephalale Development Forum or liberekisana le bona
ye ba bolelang ka yone ya Lephalale Development Forum ke ye nngwe ya di-forum tse di tlhamilweng medupi ntse ya meeting a boya ke ditaba tša hae. Ke hopola le mafello ka ra meeting re be re phela re lla ka batho ba ko Marapo Extension 4 ba tlhoka metsi ka ra meeting o vision since ba rile ba tla ka yona ke nana re ka ba mengwaga ya go feta 10 ke bolela ke le so go ra gore LDF le phane e ngata go ra gore there is a linkage between that forum the community itself.
The point is that the LDF, Limpopo, even the stakeholders who are representing the community are not in contact with the community that they're serving. Any other question?
Nna ke nna Dimpho Ramkhonami ko Maiteleja under Matlhodi organization. Ke tlo commenta puta Joburg ka 2 Street. Ha ke lebella nor ke na le how many years ke fetse matric. Ha ke lebella Joburg ha o irahale le mo a like ha e fihle le Lephalale le fihle gore ke mathata. And this thank you.
Another question?
Marapong Katlasia Women of Change organization. Kitlo comment. Almost 2012. Kiberekile 5 years. Kichilo ko midupika 2012 until 2015. Bale o tlo ba le di skill program. O diranka certificate of financial management. O marketa ka sona ko kae. After that ba o latlhela ko ntle ba terminator contract. Ha ba bana ba mo Lephalale ba bontši no so di mo di power station ho berekiwa di shutdown. Ha ba bereke ho bereka batho ba batlo ba botsa ka problem ya ditsebe. Tše ile re sala le dira la gale. Gore ntwe mo baneng ba mo Lephalale medupi le mathimba e bolaile setšhaba sa ka di skill ba botsa ka he medupi e tlišeditše skill e tlišeditše skill se sefe sa financial management ko dirang ko re nna certificate se ke na le sona re ke ema mo tseleng ke dira so ke fetiša dikoloi he bo re protocol ba reach bana o dira ba le ba re mosadi ema mo letšatšing the whole day o fetiša dikoloi. This is so painful. Baswadi no ba šetšile bana ka mo a se re tlišetše progress e re tlišeditše bolwetši batho ba lwala ba bang ba tlhokofetše bana ke ditšhiwana ka mahae bo papa bona ba bangwe ba tsamaile ba boetše mahaeng a bo bona.
Painful experiences of disappointment, unfulfilled promises, and the question is, what are we going to do going forward?
Born and bred here. Ka 2010, I remember the late Edna Molewa will declare Lephalale as a priority area. And from there, but because of Medupi ya rena, e bone maphelo a rena a se botlhokwa. Until today, we are still suffering. Ha rena yona FGD eo. O lebele matlho a hao a baba le ona, ko botsa ke re sometimes o krebile o na le monkgo o mo snacks o ka re ke maya a bodileng. Ene o ka se heme. Hore ke Orare Section 24 of the Constitution of South Africa, haere rena haere balena. Ka baka la hore re badidi. Or ka baka la hore minister yena ha fa Eskom that expansion asa lebelele maphelo ana nna ke duma hore o ka re minister a ka theoha na re sa tsa re tshware ke di asthma or ke di TB ka re tšatšileng ha o kgone le o hema o fella ke moya ha no lo kana ka ke na le miss call mo ko sekolo ba mphonetse ba re ngwana o a batlaba go re mo mathateng lela bana ba tharientsho re tlo gwa le re ka se hwe ka moka ka letšatši le lete but we are dying. Batho ba re ke sa itshwenya le ka o tsentšha CV ya ka ke re ko nyaka mmereko ka because of le ditsebe tša ka ha di kwe botse obviously medical nka se o pass ke tlo passa jwang wa re se ke sa gore ke na le hearing problems.
That is clear about the FDG and the demand for Eskom to come and account for the monies, the chemicals that are causing a lot of strife to the families because of asthma and other related diseases. I think it was a comment, many questions that she's raising.
Sorry, there's one more.
Yeah.
The power station is rena le tsona. Rena re tle mo Lephalale ka o nyaka mebereko. Ebile a e sa le o reng re tle mo Lephalale o tla tsa re bjale ke mahae ya rena. Mo a fetša o thetše ngwana a palla ko hema a palla ko diang ke lala ke re sa robale be ke bereka company ba re ke Vetas ke bereka na kwa Medupi kwa he a ta robala ke uto le a bona re be re tswana kwa mang mara a nne le be ke fitileng o feditse be ke ka moka o rurua mathwa jale ha o jewe ka molapeng nna ke nna monna ka molapeng la ka ke mosadi he o sa bere ke nna ona motho a ta bjang le saka la bopimo fase gore wa bona re phela boima mola e lo reng re ipuditse re tlo affectile bana ba borena ba bantši ba thokofetse ene bana ba bantši bophelo a bo sa leo e ke bolela so o na le document o beleilwe ka infection ya mafata jwang ka re mai ha le jwala ha tsubi ke ntwe re makaditšeng mo Lephalale re ka fase ya bothata be re
health problems. We were employed until 2020, and after COVID, we are unemployed. Some of us are breadwinners. We've got right. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am. I think is there any other questions?
Margaret Mukoka from Women of Church Organization ko Marapong ko Lephalale. Like the way Ariela Nabulela ka teng horeng our main focus, they cannot see it. The second thing, the last meeting we had, go Bosville Guest House, the minister grantile an appeal ya Eskom for emission. They were applying for emission standard. How come is it right now, minister, grantile their appeal? Mole ilunguri they don't comply. Aba comply na bereka Marion Roberti. Aba mo fa mmereko wa bo store manager and what the certificate is a wide of land ka tsona di berekile for that time they expire. If you can check another thing, as long as masipala wa rena di mine tse di bulwang mo ba sa be transparent to the community, we are going nowhere. Okay, Medupi is granted, let me say 300,000 or 500,000 to develop Lephalale. What's happening to the money? Development early release. Medupi ahile, Nosna consultant, they didn't consult the community. All we had there is a big power station coming here, but in the first time. Galebo.
Thank you. That comment just sealed it about the fact that there is no consultation. We have been affected, by the development of these mines in our areas. I'm going to hand back to someone to thank us. I would like to thank you for sharing with
conversation, Solly, and thank you very much to our panelists as well as the audience for sharing your stories with us, for being vulnerable and speaking your truth. Proud to have this with you. We are honored to have been able to share these stories and to have been able to put them out there. And we hope that it empowers a better world order where vulnerable people, affected communities, and workers are genuinely able to benefit from the extensive development, finance, and large infrastructure. Have these important conversations. Thank you.